Okay, I just want to give you an overview of this Delta I just recently built. I have flown this, but it's been in for repairs and some revisions, so I just wanted to give you a little overview and tell you a little bit about it. Start with the front. The prop is a 6x4 that's been cut down to 5 inches. The motor's a 15-gram motor, 2300 kV, 6 amp ESC. It's one of those little BL Heli ones. I think it's an Emax, if I'm not mistaken. Those are pretty reliable as far as I know. I've used a bunch of them. They work really well. The ES9051 Emax servos, the retainers on here. I'd like to just give a little overview on how these are properly installed. You drill out the servo horn to the size of the screw in this thing, and when it just is snug, you just give a little more until it rotates freely, but not with any slop. Then you put the washer, and then you put the nut, and you put a little bit of CA on the back. Once you adjust the nut so where there is no slop, but it still can turn. And I always see this done wrong, but if you do it that way, they make a nice slop-free, free-moving joint, and they work well. This is the screw to retain it. This is just a Z-bended wire going into the control horn. The control horn is of the floss type things. I don't know what we call handheld flossers, I guess. And you can just glue it in there and shape it. Just make sure that the height is the same as the other one because you're hand making these. The tape on here is for reinforcement. There's tape on that side, there's tape on the other side. The elevons have tape top and bottom, and they're wrapped in tape. Let's turn this around. There is a radio in there, and that is a Lemon RX receiver with a satellite that's in there. I'll show you that when we open it up. The antennas are right there and on there. You get the same servo on the other side, a different color. Look at that, different color control horn made out of those floss holder thingies, whatever you want to call them. The canopy, that's just stacked Dollar Tree shaped and put a little lines on them to make it look like a canopy. This here, we got the pin and post method. That went flying. And this is the interior. So let me get out of my own shadow. Turn you around. There's the interior. So, it is a Emax ESC. There's the tag for the wiring. We got the satellite right here. Then we got the battery right here. And we can pull the battery. Give you a little platform where I stuck the battery so the wires go underneath. That's just the interior of it. But I like this method of putting the hatch on. You pretty much get a like a dowel or bamboo chopstick or something like that, and you put it right through. You put it down into the foam on the bottom. You glue it here and here with a support piece of foam. Winds up being pretty light. And you just pretty much put the hatch down on top of it. You hinge it like so. And it just kind of falls into place, and you drill the hole and you kind of eyeball it, and generally they come out pretty good. And you just get one of those Aussie claw body pins and you pop it right in there. And that's kind of it. Now this here actually runs pretty good. I've flown it already and it flies okay. What I would have done differently, I mean, I've done this type of style of plane in the past and it worked out well. On this scale, I think it's better off that if this plane was more wide than it was long. And actually, well, let's take a look at that. Actually, let's take a look. I think it's square, to tell you the truth. I think it's as long as it is wide. So you got about 16 on the width, and I think it's 16 on the length too. Yeah, roughly 16 on the length. So this plane is square. Even though it looks like it's long, it really is basically square. It has, the same dimension that way as that way. And if I were doing it again, I would do something a little wider and maybe a little shorter, because it's a little touching on the roll, and it's a little maybe not as sensitive as I want it to be on the pitch. So if I made it a little wider than it was long, then I'd have that characteristic that I was looking for. But it does fly well. It just needed a little bit of adjustment as far as the throws and the exponential to make it fly the way I wanted to. We will see, and the jury will be out as far as, you know, keeping it around, scrapping it, and putting the stuff in the in a different airplane. Oh, there is also a piece of carbon in here. We have the stripes here for disorientation, and if you look along the back here, there is what I believe is a 2mm carbon rod buried in the back of the foam. So that's really that, and you know, hopefully get a video out soon of this thing flying in a field somewhere, and you know, doing its thing. So that's just an overview. I wanted to let you know what was going on, and just trying this new format out a little bit, and I hope it was informative. I hope it was enjoyable. Oh, the paint is acrylic paints, just a marker to make the outline. Acrylic doesn't melt the foam, so you know, you're good there. You spray this thing with a paint can, and you'll basically melt it. I don't know if I mentioned it, this thing came in under 200 grams. That is it. Thank you for watching.